going on, man? Welcome back to the basement. I'm Ron, and it's draft season, aka receipt season. I want to get in early in a couple of my guys. I don't know what I'm going to title this video, but this is basically going to be my guys that I'm taking in rookie drafts. I like that. I like when the fantasy footballers do it for seasonal leagues and stuff like that. So we're going to do it for rookie drafts, and these are going to be 3 of my favorite wide receivers that I'm taking in rookie drafts. And when I say my guys, obviously I have running backs and tight ends that I like, but the running back class this year is trash. We won't really know much until we have draft capital. Tight ends, I don't care about. Quarterbacks, we all know the big 5. So I want to dig deep and let you guys know about these wide receivers I think a lot of people are sleeping on. Lego.
Thirsty, trying to choose. I mean, I know I'm critical. My nitty bag.
I'm going to keep it a buck with you guys. It got hot down here. Your boy had to take the sweater off, but we're out here rocking the plain white tee. And if at any point in time during this video, you're fucking with the content, you're rocking with the plain white tee, you're rocking with the huge muscles, make sure you go down below, subscribe, and leave a like, man. It really helps the channel, really helps us grow. Now, back to the task at hand, my guys. And the first one, he's not going to be somebody super late. We'll get deeper. I'll give you guys the deep sleepers in a little bit, but at first, we're going to go Elijah Moore. And this is somebody that has been growing on me. Elijah Moore, he started out as like my wide receiver 9, then my wide receiver 7, then 6. Now he's all the way at my wide receiver 4, and it's safe to say that I'm higher on Elijah Moore than consensus. And let's get into what he did at Ole Miss. This boy was forged in flames, man. He was thrown to the Wolfpack. He came in as a freshman into a wide receiver room with DK Metcalf and AJ Brown. And just think about this. Imagine being an 18-year-old freshman, 17-year-old freshman. You come into that wide receiver room, the back of the locker room. You see AJ Brown and DK Metcalf. Think about it this way. Elijah Moore came in, I checked his prospect page. He came in at 5'9", 160 pounds as a true freshman. Yet still, even with all of the alphaness just illuminating off of DK Metcalf and AJ Brown, he still posted 36 catches for 400 yards and 2 touchdowns. DK Metcalf only played in 7 out of 12 games. He had some kind of injury going on, but it's still pretty impressive. He didn't cross that 20% college dominant rating that we're looking for, but he didn't need a breakout as a freshman, but I think we can give him a pass. I think that we can maybe give him a pass for having AJ Brown and DK Metcalf in that offense. Thankfully, he smashed it as a sophomore, though. He comes in a year where Ole Miss barely even passes for 2,500 passing yards. Elijah Moore puts up 67 catches for 850 yards and 6 touchdowns, which isn't that impressive when you think about it, but let's put it into context. No other wide receiver on that team exceeded 20 receptions or 200 receiving yards, and at age 19, he put up a 45.5% college dominant rating, 91st percentile. Just for some context, Devonta Smith in that same conference put up a 47% college dominant rating, which is only 1.5% better than that, as a 22-year-old senior winning the Heisman. Elijah Moore put up that kind of performance in his offense as a sophomore. Literally the millisecond that DK Metcalf and AJ Brown leave, the offense becomes Elijah Moore, and Elijah Moore becomes the offense. Then we go to year 3, and it's not nearly as impressive. Elijah Moore, he takes care of business. That's what Elijah Moore is about. He's about his business. He comes in, 86 catches, 1,200 yards, 8 touchdowns, no big deal, 30% dominant rating. Now, that's not the same 46% dominant rating we were talking about last year, but that's not what we need. We really just want to see him pass that 20% college dominant rating, which is market share of receiving yards and receiving touchdowns within that offense. The offense was much better. Lane Kiffin comes in, they're throwing it a lot more. Matt Corral looks great. But all we want to see is him break that 20% threshold in year 1 or year 2. And then in year 3, we just want to see the receiver not faceplant, not go below 25% college dominant rating. You'd like to see 30% or more. So 30%, he's right on the dot. He's fine. And even though the analytics weren't that crazy that year for him, he looked much better on tape, which is great. He comes in with a 92.4 receiving grade as a junior, which was second best in this class behind Devonta Smith. And he was the only other receiver besides Devonta Smith with a 90-plus receiver rating. And this is what we want. We want that sweet music, that sweet jazz music with the film and the analytics come together, because when they don't, that's when you get a N'Keal Harry situation. N'Keal Harry, the analytics loved him, the film hated him, he couldn't separate, whatever, ended up being a bust. Now, I'm not saying that you need both to agree at all times, but when they do agree, it's a special circumstance, and that's what you want. You want the film and the analytics to come together, because that's just a huge sign of agreement, vote of confidence that this guy is good on both sides and checks all the boxes. So we know Elijah Moore, he's a mega producer, he's an analytics darling, but what does it look like when he's on the field? We know that PFF loved him, but what does it look like when he puts the helmet on, the shoulder pads? What is he going to look like on the field? At 5'9", 178, Elijah Moore, just under the alpha thresholds. We like to see for alphas, they're 5'11 plus 195 pounds plus 26 plus BMI. He doesn't hit those. The alpha wide receivers, we want those guys because they have more upside in fantasy. But at a beta wide receiver, not every single guy is going to be able to be the Devonta Adams, Deandre Hopkins that can have a top 5 wide receiver season. And Elijah Moore, I'm cool with what he brings to the table. He's not quite an alpha, but he checks a lot of boxes, man. He comes in with a 4.4 40, 98th percentile agility score, which is perfect for the slot. Now, here's the juicy part with Elijah Moore. He has a dynamic score of 21, so he qualifies for dynamic beta status. For those of you who haven't seen my dynamic beta video, pretty much the next best type of receiver after an alpha is a dynamic beta. A dynamic beta is someone who can return punts, be dynamic. The whole idea of dynamic score is rushing yards, punt return yards, and kick return yards. So if your wide receiver isn't big and huge and dominant, you want him to be smaller and be electric with the ball in his hands like an Antonio Brown or Tyreek Hill. And because of this, Elijah Moore, he looks like a Tyler Lockett, a T.Y. Hilton, a Emmanuel Sanders. They all have that same type of skill set, same small size, but really dynamic, really electric with the ball. And all of those guys are slot plus guys, so they have super high floors, and I think Elijah Moore has a super high floor. I doubt that he busts. The thing is, top 12 seasons in his range of outcomes, I think he'll hit on a couple in high-scoring offenses as a target magnet. As you guys know, he's my wide receiver 4. I would take him as early as the 111 Superflex drafts. Right now, he's going to 206 as the wide receiver 7. So I'm much higher than him. I'm about 7 spots higher than consensus on him. I love Elijah Moore, and I'm going to love him even more. The problem is we're going to lose a little bit of an edge because I think that he's going to go first round in the draft, fellas. I've been hearing that a lot of teams out there have him as his wide receiver 4. I'm telling you guys, you heard it here first. Do not be surprised when the first 4 wide receivers off the board go Jamar Chase, any order, Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, Devonta Smith, and then Elijah Moore is the 4th wide receiver off the board. Now that we got my guy Elijah Moore out of the way, now it's time to really get deep. I know you guys wanted the fringe guys, the deep guys. We're going deep here. We got my boy Nico Collins. He's going off the board at the 401 as the wide receiver 17. I have him way ahead of that at the 211 as my wide receiver 13. And here's why. We want upside. Once we get to that second round, that's all I'm aiming for. I will take a swing on a guy like Nico Collins in the second round of a rookie draft all day long, or like in the late second round, early third. All day long. Those are draft picks that you want to just take hits on. You don't need to try and draft the next Van Jefferson. Go out there and try and find the next Kenny Golladay, Chase Claypool. That's what you want to use those picks on. That's the kind of upside that Nico Collins has. When we look at his pro day, he comes in, Michigan's pro day, comes in at 6'4", 215 pounds, runs a 4.5, puts up a 77th percentile burst score and a 94th percentile catch radius. He has that traditional alpha X bully type build like a Kenny Golladay, Alshon Jeffrey. And why do we want alphas? I've been talking about upside, alphas, alphas. And easily the easiest way to find upside in Dynasty Fantasy Football through the wide receiver position is through alphas. I made a video on this a week ago. I might find a way to put a tag in or something like that for anybody that hasn't seen that video yet. But the main stat or one of the best stats from that video was of the 14 wide receivers to score 20 points per game in a season since 2013, 12 of them were alphas. So if you want to have one of those super mega producers, one of those top 5 wide receivers in the position, they are probably going to be alphas. Now, Nico Collins looks the part. He kind of has like a Trojan horse type profile where he looks the part, he looks really sexy. I'm not going to sit here and act like his profile is all sweet and rosy because it's not. He doesn't have a great production profile. When I look at these prospects, I always use Campus to Canton's charts on weighted dominating rating and yards per team pass attempt. These are 2 of the best stats for receivers that we have because yards per team pass attempt is literally just receiving yards over team pass attempts. It just combines dominance and efficiency, and then weighted dominating rating. It's the same thing as college dominating rating, like we said, the market share of receiving yards and passing TDs, but instead of 50-50, it's 80% receiving yards, 20% touchdowns. And when we look at these charts, just like with dominating, we want to see them break out in year 1 or 2 and then do fine in year 3. And the dotted line is that threshold. The dotted line is the average top 24 wide receiver in the NFL, and that's you want them to pass that line so that they're on par with that. And at no point during Nico Collins' career does he ever pass those lines. He does get damn close his sophomore year, but here's kind of the bright side. He actually does qualify for an age 19 breakout age, which is really impressive with a 20% plus college dominating rating in his sophomore season. The problem is that he checks that box, but because we looked further, we look at these charts, we know that college dominating rating is a little bit pumped up by his touchdowns, and it's kind of fool's gold in a way. Especially when you look at the fact that his sophomore season, he only put up 38 catches for 632 yards and 6 touchdowns. That's not a crazy season, and I wouldn't really qualify that as a crazy age 19 breakout. In Nico Collins' defense, though, Jim Harbaugh has plagued Michigan. They have been an absolute shit show since he's come in. His quarterback was Shea Patterson, who we know is a bona fide scrub. He had a tough situation to succeed. That's a tough situation. Jim Harbaugh hasn't been great. His quarterback wasn't great. A lot of other 5-star wide receivers in that room as well. They had Tariq Black, Donovan Peoples-Jones. Not that they're great wide receivers, but Michigan recruited super well, got a stacked wide receiver room, and then did nothing with them. So that's why we're having these wide receivers like Donovan Peoples-Jones, like Nico Collins, that are kind of like just the waste that's trickling down from that Michigan program. And it's hard to figure out, was it Michigan or was it them? Were they just not that great or was it Michigan? And I'm willing to roll the dice at his price because he comes out as a 4-star top 25 wide receiver. He has that pedigree, and I'm going to bet on his pedigree, the size. I'll chalk up his bad production numbers to the Jim Harbaugh experiment. And I think his size and athleticism could get him pretty good draft capital. Right now, he's pegged in for around like round 3, round 4. I would not be shocked if we see him go second round. Chase Claypool, no one thought he was going to go second round last year. There's some teams out there that prefer those big X wide receivers. And in a class with not a lot of those types of receivers, I wouldn't be surprised to see an X wide receiver like a Niko Collins get pushed up draft boards because of it. When you take into account his alpha upside in a draft full of betas, why not swing on that upside? Once you get to the back end of the second round, early part of the third round, I'm more than comfortable taking a swing on Niko Collins. Last up, we're going Cade Johnson, even deeper. Cade Johnson out of South Dakota State is my favorite late round dart throw right now. He's going at the 501 as the wide receiver 25. So we're talking deep. This guy, if your league only does like 4 rounds of their rookie draft, you may be able to get this guy off waivers. Cade Johnson, I have him at wide receiver 19 as my 402. And Cade Johnson's one of those super weird profiles because he played in the FCS. Like, he could have gone to Blue Mountain State and I wouldn't even know the difference. I literally can't find his stats anywhere besides Player Profiler. And Player Profiler just has his stats at the bottom of the screen. There's nowhere to find his team stats, so I couldn't even tell you what his offense looked like. But what I can tell you is that this guy was the big man on campus at South Dakota State as a sophomore. He posted 67 catches for 1,300 yards and 17 touchdowns. 17 touchdowns as a sophomore. Remember, Elijah Moore had a 45.5% college dominant rating as a sophomore. This guy, Cade Johnson, had 44.7% college dominant rating as a sophomore as well. Now, it's not as impressive because he wasn't 19, he was 20. I'm not sure what held him back, but the fact that it was his sophomore year, that's still enough for me. He was then dominant as a junior. If he had just declared for the draft there, his profile would be a little bit better because now he's a senior. Now he's not an early declare. And we want younger receivers. We want early declares because that gives them more time to grow in the NFL. So he kind of looks like Elijah Moore. He's small. He's an early mega producer like Elijah Moore. But what does he actually look like? And I couldn't tell you. I really don't know. The guys at Player Profiler, they don't even have his picture. Like, I genuinely do not know what this guy looks like, but he's 5'10", 184 pounds. And he profiles as a beta wide receiver just like Elijah Moore. And I think that he fits more of like a Deontay Johnson, Jamison Crowder type mold. Cade is going to be the poster boy for the dynamic betas. It's going to be Elijah Moore as like the true poster boy, but as like a late round, okay, you can get this guy late and he still has that crazy upside. Cade Johnson's going to be the one. Cade Johnson's going to be that guy that maybe he becomes something one day. He was a special teams machine at South Dakota State. He puts up over 1,000 special teams yards and 2 touchdowns on his returns. He has a second best dynamic score of the class. Elijah Moore only had a 21 dynamic score. This guy, Cade Johnson, has 67, so he is electric with the ball in space. I just like that he was a mega producer. He broke out as a sophomore, and he profiles as dynamic beta, so I like his outcome. I like his range of outcomes. He could be Deontay Johnson. He could be Jamison Crowder. I think that he has that in his range of outcomes, and if you could get that for a late-round flyer, like in the late 4th round, I'll take that every time. If you made it this far, man, I appreciate it. Make sure you go down below, subscribe, leave a like, and join the Discord. On the Discord, man, we have a nice community growing in there. We do mock drafts. We talk about our trades in there, what we're doing in our Dynasty leagues. I'm going to have subscriber leagues in there. So make sure you go down below, join the Discord. I'm also going to be doing a live stream on NFL Draft Night. So if you're a fan of the channel, if you like what we're growing here, make sure that you tune into that. It's probably going to be like 8 p.m. on Draft Night. I don't know, something along those lines. And as always, I'll probably put a thread on this on Twitter, @RonStewart_, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Thirsty, trying to choose. I mean, I know I'm critical. My name